had 6 local starts to date. And he moves into barrier 6, just about ready. So stand by for a start. They clear the track, ready to bounce. There they go. They're off over the 2,000 metres, and D Great Swift dwelled at the start. He's back near the rear early, but the grey Vergladica found the lead into that first turn. Sogor Gadibi now moves across to be second. Limbs Keyway, Merchant Marine is back on the inside, and JJ Star is tracking wide. D Great Swift is now slipping up on the inside of a few runners, including Fledgling, Beautiful One, Limbs Master, and a further length away Jeffrey last of all as they race inside the mile pole. And Vergladica is rolling along its own steam at the moment, the only grey in the race. And Vergladica led by 3 lengths to Limbs Keyway, and JJ Star's working overtime in the initial stages. Now goes up to the leader's girth, and Limbs Keyway is now back to third. From So-Called DB, then Fledgling, who's racing outside of Merchant Marina. A further length and a half away, D Great Swift inside of Jeffrey. The last 2, Limbs Master and also Beautiful One. They're coming off the back straight now, and with 1,200 metres left to run. And Vergladica is now joined again by JJ Star, the outsider. About 2.5 away third, then Limbs Keyway outside So-Called DB. From Merchant Marine, then Fledgling. They were followed next along then by Jeffrey. D Great Swift is drifting back with Limbs further back, Limbs Master, and a further 2.5 away. Beautiful One is the trailer as they approach the home turn. 600 metres left to travel, and Vergladica tries to take it all the way, but JJ Star is moving up ominously. Here's Jeffrey. He's about to cut loose around the outside, and also going with him is So-Called Gadibi, but inside the 400 they race. And So-Called Gadibi moves up to take over. They quickly beat off JJ Star and Vergladica. But here's Jeffrey, the fresh horse on the scene. And Limbs Master winding up down the outside. So-Called Gadibi now tackled by Limbs Master. It's Limbs Master moving up outside of So-Called Gadibi. Takes over. And Limbs Master draws clear. Limbs Master too good. Wins by nearly 2.5 lengths to So-Called Gadibi. Third home was Beautiful One. Flashed home from last. And then came D Great Swift and Jeffrey. They were followed by Fledgling. Vergladica dropped away there with JJ Star, Limbs Keyway, and last in was Merchant Marine. So Limbs Master, HS Gill and Johnny Lim combining there in race number 3 has got the prize, wearing down So-Called Gadibi, and a Beautiful One was charging home at the end, came from last on the home turn, and will run third. And D Great Swift was also doing his best work at the end. But Limbs Master will get the prize and pays 56 for the win. 16 the place. 56 and 16 the return there for number 7, Limbs Master. Defeats number 9, So-Called Gadibi, who will pay 14 the place. And third is number 2, Beautiful One, who will pay 10, 792. And number 5 should wind up in 4th spot. And that was D Great Swift. So Limbs Master, first run over the 2,000 metres. He's only had one other win in his career, and that was over 1,600 metres. And that was here in KL. That was going back to October last year. So Limbs Master proving to be a solid stayer. HS Gill riding for Johnny Lim, and Limbs Master, a 5-year-old bay gelding by Manhattan Rain out of Any Wonder. Raced by the Lim stable. BT Lim, HS Gill combining, defeats number 9, which is So-Called Gadibi. M. Sukri, the trainer, and ridden by CK Core. And third over is number 2, Beautiful One, trained by Lawson Moy, ridden by Esu Zaire. Fourth is 5, D Great Swift, Richard Lyons, the trainer, ridden by El D'Souza. 2 lengths by a half were the margins, with a further length and a half to fourth. It was 2 by a half by 1.5. 203.2. 203.2, not a bad effort. That's about 1.3 outside the record, which was set by Order of the Sun late last year. So a pretty good effort, pretty quick time as well. Returned by the eventual winner, which was Limbs Master, who's now posted 2 wins from 25 overall. And his only other victory was back in October last year when he was successful here in KL over 1,600 metres. So HS Gill, the winning rider, after the running of race number 3 on today's program. And Gill has now posted 26 winners for the year. And him and Rizzoni having a bit of a stirring duel there at the top end of the Jockeys Premiership. So the numbers are 7, 9, 2, and 4th is number 5 after race 3, and the replay coming up.